All right, Jay Crypto here once again, ladies and gents. And today we're doing our first real live stream. So it might not be the best of my content. I'm really just getting this one out there because you got to start putting out some live streams to get better at them. But I do have cool topics to talk about on this live stream. We're going to be talking about DEX NFTs, and we're just going to be talking about NFTs in general. Also, if there's any potential questions you guys have, lay them on me, because I'll maybe not hit them in this video, maybe I will, but I'll definitely write them down. And if they're good questions, then I can research them and get back to you with a different piece of content. So the thumbnail I put, because what you got to do is you got to put what's up, what's up, what's up, guys. So what you got to do is you got to put the thumbnail on live streams first. Usually I do it after because I like to just flow. But DEX NFTs. So if you have any interest in NFTs, there's been kind of this theme on my channel I've been talking about where there's art project NFTs that just have a set supply. We look at CryptoPunks. We look at a few different projects on Ethereum that don't necessarily have the, I guess, the utility, the underlying utility connected to a revenue producing decentralized application. And we look at those and we see them trading. We see people buying them up left and right. We see Mark Cuban, Gary Vaynerchuk, just swallowing these things whole. And shout out to those two guys, obviously great entrepreneurs, part of the US entrepreneurs. So we like them, but and we like what they've done for crypto. But on the channel on J Crypto, what we've been also looking at is some of these decentralized exchange NFTs that are linked to a decentralized exchange. One that comes to mind is BabySwap. So I type in BabySwap, right? You go on to BabySwap. It's a newer DEX. BabySwap first got on my radar, actually, believe it or not, when Most Valuable Builder Phase 2 ended, because there was a lot of speculation in the Binance Smart Chain community about the up-and-coming projects that will be part of Most Valuable Builder Phase 3. If you don't know about Most Valuable Builder, here's a perfect time for me to share that with you. So Most Valuable Builder is a program on the Binance Smart Chain that incubates through a competition some of the leading, most innovative decentralized apps on the Binance Smart Chain. And it's really cool to watch the rankings because they have a few different phases, right? They start with 500 projects and they narrow it down to 20 projects. And then they narrow it down again to 10 projects. And as the projects get whittled down, the rewards for those projects get bigger and the stakes get bigger for them to try to compete and win. And Most Valuable Builder Phase 2, we had Crypto Blades, we had ApeSwap, which is something I'll bring up today. And we also had my DeFi pet as well. And I got something to bring up either today or tomorrow about my DeFi pet. So basically, and I'll take questions in a minute here. So basically, that's a good little history point. That's where BabySwap got on my radar. And I'm going to hit you with a kind of example of what they did. So they are creating these non-fungible babies, they call them. They look wicked cool. And there is some art to them. But in my opinion, this is what's called a DEX NFT because it's not just an art project. It's linked to a decentralized exchange that's creating revenue. And in my humble opinion, it may not be BabySwap. Maybe it is. Shout out to any baby army out there. It may not be BabySwap, but in my humble opinion, guys and girls, my humble opinion, getting an NFT that's linked to something that's producing actual revenue has more intrinsic value than just getting a JPEG. Now, there's certain instances where obviously these early NFTs on Ethereum, they're going to be treated like museum pieces of art in hundreds of years, and they're going to be incredibly valuable. I get that point, but there's a phenomenon where basically these NFTs or some of these NFT projects just kind of aren't the first 100 NFT projects, and they don't have much utility, and they're still selling and trading. And that's kind of why I want to also bring up, look, there's some projects out there that are creating these NFTs like non-fungible baby, and I'll explain this in a moment. they're fusing the baby token with these NFTs. Okay. So number one, you already have an asset infused with the NFTs for the non-fungible babies. It's not just a JPEG. It is a JPEG. It's a beautiful piece of art. For example, there's one that's the first ever baby. It's first ever baby. That's what the NFTs call it. And it's fused with 10 baby tokens. Okay. So it already has a value of almost $10 just because of that. It's fused with crypto, number one. Number two, some of them are partnered with projects. Okay. So like there's this one that they partnered with ApeSwap. Now, ApeSwap, I remind you, in phase 2 most valuable builders, they won phase 2 most valuable builders, right? So BabySwap is like an up and coming dApp that a lot of people speculate will do well. ApeSwap is something that's already kind of proven itself. Okay. And I'll get to ApeSwap's NFTs after. Probably I stopped to get some questions because maybe I'll check the chat in a minute here. But so basically they're partnering with these other NFT projects and creating, and if you haven't seen my channel, I did a video on this. They're creating these NFTs that are infused with crypto, number one. They're linked to the decentralized exchange. And as long as the decentralized exchange produces revenue, they can put in more utility to their NFTs for forever. So it's speculative in the fact that they can add more utility if they want, and maybe you're banking on that. But it's also infused with crypto. So now you're buying an asset that at the very least, if you destroy it, you're going to get some money out of it. And if you believe in the baby token or whatever token is infused in the native NFT, then obviously that's a big deal because you're kind of investing into it while having a piece of art. Like imagine if you were to buy, I don't know, a Picasso painting and you bought it for $1 million. But inside the Picasso painting, there was $800,000, right? Because you are going to buy the NFT probably for a premium based on just what I've seen in the market. Maybe you guys have seen something else. So if you're buying it for a little bit of a premium, then think about it like this. It's kind of like destroying that Picasso painting is the only way to get your $800,000. So you bought it for $200,000, but you still have $800,000 in there. And now if we really want to go to like a more realistic example, it would be like taking Tesla stock and putting $1 million. It would be like taking Tesla stock and putting $1 million, like buying a Picasso painting for $1 million of Tesla stock, right? And there's $800,000 of Tesla stock locked in this NFT or this painting, the Picasso painting. And the only way to get that Tesla stock is to destroy the painting. Okay, so that's what some of these DEX NFTs are, as well as things like ApeSwap. But hold on, let me just check the chat. All right, so we got Rune. Shout out to you, Rune. Hi, bro. First, psych about Darius. I don't know what you mean, bro. Darius. We also got Rune again. I want more swaps for BSC. Good with fees. I hate Pancake Swap, and I want know more about of Loot NFT. Okay, that's something that's on my radar. I haven't done a lot of research on Loot. It's come on my radar a few times now. I'm going to be looking at it a little bit closer, but I just haven't yet. Or the new Husky NFT in AVAX. It's brand new. Yeah, AVAX is another place we got to explore a bit on the channel, but right now I'm focusing on Cardano. Hi, how can I get in touch with you? I have an email that you can reach. It's in my About Me page, okay? I tried to get like jcrypto@gmail.com. It wasn't taken, so my email is something like crypto usernames were taken at gmail.com. So it's just, they were taken. Which CNFT are you looking for in the next couple of weeks? It's still early. So right now what I'm looking for is an NFT patch with utility. And I haven't seen it just yet because what I'm seeing on CNFT is a lot of really fun looking projects that have maybe about, I would say 30% more utility than the early Ethereum NFT projects. Like just that's the baseline, the standard. I think they are trying to go towards more utility. But I haven't seen anything just with incredible utility. Congrats to the Cardano community for getting smart contracts out there. It'll take a little bit of time, as it should, for them to build out some really cool looking stuff. But I have been looking at Sunday Swap. I've been looking at a few other dexes, and it's a matter of time, guys. It really is. It's just a matter of time before we start seeing NFTs packed with utility in there that are related to decentralized exchanges like I'm talking about, or other decentralized applications or play to earn games, and you're going to be able to buy those probably on CNFT. So I'm waiting for that. And then we had somebody else say thoughts on Illuvium. I don't know Illuvium. I'll just tell you guys when I don't know a project, because I do understand that there's a lot of projects out there. I'd love to hear. Oh, I love the question, by the way. Shisher, good question. Everyone's asking great questions. Ryan T, I don't know if you can hit me with what blockchain that's on. I can look it up. It'll be easy once you hit me with which blockchain that's on. That would be much appreciated, brother. So I want to get into ApeSwap's NFTs and how they're fundamentally different than BabySwap's NFTs. Okay. So here's the deal with, but I will say, by the way, for anybody asking about CNFT, because I have been studying Cardano NFTs like crazy recently. Claymates looks pretty legit. Some of the lower cap ones, I just did a video on them. You can get in on some of these floors in the top 10 projects at like 30 ADA still. Claymates, it's more like 100, 200, probably closer to 200 right now. I think today's video is 200. So, but some of these floors and some of these lower cap in the top 10 rankings, right? Because my last video I did the top 10 rankings for the last week. The floors are like 20, 30 ADA on some of these. So I wouldn't want to miss out on that. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not a financial advisor. I wouldn't want to miss out on that if I were you. That's all I'm going to say. ApeSwap. So ApeSwap's NFTs basically are fundamentally different than non-fungible apes. Have you guys seen these? Have you looked at these? So now I'm not really saying that these NFTs are super packed with utility right now. But what I think about the non-fungible apes, it's actually kind of interesting. I think these non-fungible apes have infinite utility. It's kind of like the Gary V NFTs. Like a lot of these early NFT projects that are related to an organization, a company, an entrepreneur. If you buy the first series, here's the potential, right? You could potentially see these NFTs just have unlimited future utility, because what's stopping ApeSwap from partnering with a project, a play to earn game, and just saying, hey, look, every non-fungible ape holder, we're going to airdrop you this play to earn games token, because that was their deal. They said, okay, we want to start up some farms. We want to get some liquidity going. We want to list on ApeSwap. We're okay if you guys vet us. That's fine. And we're going to give you all your non-fungible ape holders an airdrop. I think that's already happened a few times. I think that's literally already happened with NFA holders. So that's why I'm looking at these decentralized exchange NFTs, and I'm like, it's like, I've heard this example thrown around. I want to give the person credit, but I forget who it was. And it was probably someone famous, because I just listened to podcasts. And they were saying that basically whoever throws the party, it's like a good strategy to like throw the party, right? So if you're trying to build a podcast or something, then it's a good strategy to basically be the one that's building the podcast and inviting guests onto your show. And basically a lot of the times the guests will want to come because you're throwing the party, opposed to trying to get on people's shows that have their podcasts. It's easier for you to just be like, hey, come to us. Decentralized exchanges, in my opinion, are kind of like that. I mean, if you have a working decentralized exchange that has a ton of volume, is trusted by a large community, and as these network effects grow, like Raoul Paul says, then you're gonna see these decentralized exchanges grow too. What's interesting about that is they have so many directions they can go, because the NFAs aren't fused with the banana token. They're instead, there's only a limited supply. BabySwap, the NFTs that are fused with the BabySwap token, remember, they can keep making these NFTs as long as they fuse them with crypto, because that's what gives them a little bit of an edge on value. ApeSwap's direction is a little bit different because instead of giving that infusion of crypto, they're saying, look, we're only going to have so many, and that's it. I think it's 10,000, if I'm not mistaken, or 1,000 or 10,000. And since they're a DEX, not only can they say, okay, we're going to give some of our profit to all non-fungible ape holders in the form of a rev share, right? They can also say any partners that we partner with, we're going to have airdrops go to these non-fungible apes. And they're the only ones that can do that because a decentralized exchange really has the leverage in making a deal like that with a new project. Okay. So not only can there be passive income directly from and don't forget appreciation just of more people using ApeSwap, than the value of an ApeSwap NFT, if there's only 1,000 of them, is going to inherently go up, 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 right? So that's kind of the difference maker of ApeSwap. I'll talk about a few others in a second, but I just want to take a look at some of these other. Okay, so Ryan T, got it. Thanks, bro. Okay, give me a couple more things on that. Shishir, what do you think about very important dummies? So I'm looking at VID. I looked at it this morning. They are already at 198 a floor. So I'm in the stage, just so you guys are aware, and girls, I'm in the stage still of looking at what are the projects with the most volume, what is the fundamentals looking like. I haven't quite gotten to the utility of these projects yet. What I'd love to know from that question is, what kind of utility do you see in VID that's different than just a JPEG? That's the question I ask myself, and I need to find that out about some of these very popular right now ADA NFTs. I think it's a no-brainer to invest in some of these, not financial advice, just because I think we're going to see that the first NFTs on some of these major blockchains that have been in development so long, and now they're finally launching smart contracts. The biggest one out of all of them is Cardano, really. We're going to see that the first set of NFTs are going to, I think they're going to just absolutely explode in value over time. And I believe in Cardano too. If you guys don't know much about Cardano, then that's all good. But I feel like a lot of people that follow me at this point have heard me talk about Cardano enough to probably be part of the Cardano community. So there's things like extra languages that's going to attract more developers. And that's kind of, from a developer standpoint, the only real like potential for an Ethereum killer is to get the developers to really start building onto a blockchain. And why would they go from the most popular, aka Ethereum, to something else? Well, the reason why they did it for Binance Smart Chain was because it was where all the retail traders and investors in DeFi and dApps were going, because it was cheaper, it was quicker, and it gave these smaller DeFi projects the experience they probably needed to go on to Cardano in the future, or a different blockchain like that. And instead of compete with the big boys on Ethereum, why do that when you got so much money flowing on Binance Smart Chain or on Polygon, right? So that's kind of what I think about that. You have a video on those 10 NFTs? Yep. Yeah, I just did a video on the 10 NFTs. I gotta be careful about reading the comments out loud, just in case I get something that's not nice. So basically, we do have a video. It's the last video I did. So if you go on my channel, you can check it out. You can check it out in real time right now, and you can check out the top 10 NFTs by volume. And that means like trading volume. So how many NFTs were traded this last 7 days. Okay. All right. So that brings me to an earlier DeFi project that I've covered on my channel quite a lot. All right. And it was something I covered earlier because it was one of the most, they've just continued to build some very innovative stuff, and it was fun to like watch and look at. And the community was, you know, the actual developers and the team, in my opinion, have always been really nice to me. And that was, and by the way, I will get to PancakeSwap's NFTs because I know they're coming out the 22nd. I'm pretty sure. If somebody can check that and shoot it in the comments, that'd be cool. So the project is Burn.fi. And I mentioned this because they created an NFT that basically, okay, so Burn.fi was an earlier project. You know, right now they're still kind of getting their, I would say they're still finding their way. No one's really sure, okay, will this project be, what will happen with this project? You know, eyes are on it. They're saying, will they be able to do what they're trying to do? And what they're trying to do is interesting. They're trying to create an entire ecosystem of DeFi products. Okay. The reason why I mentioned this is because with Burn.fi, they did something very interesting. They created a loyalty NFT program. And basically, I've mentioned this a few times on the channel, where they created this loyalty NFT program. They had about 5 or 6 different things. They had a lending protocol. They had an algorithmic stablecoin. They had a DEX. They had aggregate yield farms. They had all these different things. And they created these 3 tiers of NFTs. All right. And I'm going to relate this to some of these other bigger projects because they could do the same thing. And when they do, those NFTs are going to absolutely explode in value. So here's what happens. When you basically own 2 of the underlying tokens that Burn.fi has. One is their algorithmic stablecoin token, which is called BDO, and another one's called BFI. Okay. You take, and BDO at the time was selling for, I don't know, like 30 cents. It's really dropped since then. So I'm not saying to go invest in this project. I'm not trying to shill it. I'm not being sponsored by them to say this. I'm just using it as an educational example. And they might succeed. You know, I hope they succeed, right? Because I learned a lot about DeFi just by following what they were doing. But you take BDO and you take BFI tokens, right? And remember, ask any questions in the chat. I'll get back to the chat after this example. So you take BDO and you take BFI tokens. You got 30 cents for basically the BDO token at the time. And maybe it was like, I don't know, 60 bucks for the BFI tokens. So you needed 5 BFI tokens and you needed about 10,000 BDO tokens. And instead of buying these NFTs, and I'll tell you what these NFTs did in a second, but instead of buying these NFTs, you had to lock up your tokens. Okay. So you lock up the 10,000 BDO. So technically on paper, you still own it, like technically, because you can redeem it, and the BFI tokens as well. So you're never buying these NFTs. It's not like you're buying them and it's an exchange and boom, your money's gone, but you own the NFT. So why did people want these NFTs? Well, it gave people exclusive rights to go, and they haven't really developed this out yet. They've only launched, I think, 1 project, but it gave people exclusive rights to join launchpad projects, right? So that's an IDO, an initial DEX offering, okay? It also gave passive income from the entire ecosystem, okay? So I mentioned this example on the live stream because I really want people to understand why I'm pushing for utility NFTs and why I'm waiting myself and saying, look, I'm showing you guys these NFTs. I'm saying DEX NFTs could be super undervalued. It's a matter of time before they could explode, but it's not happening just yet. And the ones that are happening aren't super like for sure. So it's incredibly speculative. So basically you had these NFTs that were now giving you passive income. You locked up your tokens, and at any time you could redeem your tokens by giving up your rights for the NFT. Okay. This NFT would give you profit sharing from the entire Burn ecosystem. And at the time it was like 4 or 5 different decentralized applications. It looked like a pretty sweet deal. Now I've heard that the passive income right now isn't too large on these NFTs, just to be honest. But, you know, if they manage to create an ecosystem that can drive cash flow to these NFT holders, it could still be a sweet deal. So we'll see what happens with that. But let me take a quick look at these questions, and then I'll hit up what I think about the PancakeSwap NFTs and what they're going to do. Okay, I love ADA, but there is no dApps. It's just smart contract, and this is why I just wait more to see what is the next movie. It's very smart, Rune. Hey, listen, I got you. The thing is, though, it's like they just launched smart contracts, so it's going to take some time. And they're not even finished yet. They have like a few more eras, is what they call them, to complete. So, I mean, Charles Hoskinson, if I'm going to make this an ADA stream, I mean, he's just kind of game planned pretty much, you know, from the first to the fourth quarter and then overtime as well. And that's all I'm going to say about that. I think what you guys should do if you're just getting into ADA is just have things like Sunday Swap on your radar. I'm not saying to invest in it, but watch it. And once it launches, watch it and just keep watching it. So I like that, Rune. I agree 100%, buddy. PancakeSwap NFTs, and I'll probably finish my stream with this and check it out because I was researching live streams, and basically they said that sometimes your live stream will stop for a bit. So I just want to make sure there's no technical problem. This is why I'm not going to go any longer than this. So PancakeSwap is the last DEX. So we've covered BabySwap, which infuses baby tokens and partners with other projects and can add endless utility. But you also got that Picasso painting with the Tesla asset in there, essentially. That's their model. We got ApeSwap, which is more of a play like CryptoPunks. There's a set supply of apes. I think it's 1,000. I want to say it's 1,000. If somebody can, put that in the comments there, I'll appreciate that. I'll look it up too afterwards. But basically, these are like CryptoPunks. You got very few supply, low supply of these. They're selling for a lot of money. I don't know if you guys have seen how much they're selling for, but some of these things are selling for a lot of money. I think it's the #1 BSC NFT collection right now in terms of volume. Number one. So we got ApeSwap. Now, the other thing about ApeSwap that I've noticed is promotions, like people being able to airdrop their token to non-fungible ape holders. So you're getting some passive income there. If you own a non-fungible ape, you don't even have to say it, but if you know about some further utility on those, please hit me up. I would appreciate it. It'd be fun to hear all the things that you're getting. I don't own a non-fungible ape, so I'm just talking about it because like it's one of the cooler plays of NFTs I've seen so far. Plus they're cross-chain. I mean, ApeSwap is probably going to go to Cardano. It's on Polygon, and what's stopping them from being on every single chain? So if you own one of those non-fungible apes and it becomes the Uniswap of every single chain, I mean, that's a huge value add. And now they have launch pads for a bunch of projects, not just projects on Binance Smart Chain. And they can add unlimited utility in the future. So imagine if CryptoPunks was like a decentralized exchange or a play to earn game, and it had its own economy going as well as having the art being sold. That's kind of what we're talking about here right now. We're talking about, yeah, the art is important. I get it. But what happens if you can have an NFT that gives you some kind of passive income element, cash flow element? It's digital real estate. That's what that is. It's digital investment real estate. You can also eventually probably, and we're watching the SEC, we're watching what they decide to do right now on a lot of different topics. But eventually you're probably going to be able to leverage these things if things go smoothly, because what I learned early on in my journey was there's certain properties that property has, like real estate has, and NFTs are kind of falling into property. So one of the things about owning a house or owning property is you should be able to pawn it off if you need to and leverage it. So that's an interesting thing to think about as well. Then we covered Burn.fi's NFTs, their loyalty NFTs. They had 3 tiers: diamond, platinum, gold. I talked about the requirements to get a gold NFT. And that was 10,000 BDO and 5 beefy. But you didn't have to auction. You didn't have to buy these. There's only 1,000 gold. There's like 50 platinum, and then there was 25 diamond. You didn't have to do any of that. You just had to lock up their native tokens. I could see this as like a business model. A lot of businesses could do this in the future. If they have an underlying token, right? Like the coffee shop example I use. Coffee shop is an underlying token instead of having people buy their NFTs that have some kind of profit sharing. And a commission. That's how they're going to make some extra revenue. And they're designing utility in these as well. Remember the free coffee? I don't know if you guys are new to the channel, you're probably like, this guy's crazy. But if you've watched a few videos, you know what I'm saying. They can implement in real life the NFTs. You can get a free coffee, or Domino's if they come out with an NFT. Maybe it's a free pizza a month to start with, some kind of utility. And then when people lend that out to people that want pizza, it's interesting. So basically we talked about that. Burn.fi, instead of buying these tokens or having an auction, you can just lock up your initial tokens. And that's an interesting model too. I could see some real value in that. And then PancakeSwap, I'm not sure what they're going to do yet. I think I heard that they're going to be auctioning off these NFTs, or minting, excuse me. You can mint these NFTs if you have Pancake token. Not sure how much is required. We'll check in on that. I've been pretty busy with ADA stuff. But what's great about these NFTs is they're kind of like the ApeSwap. I think there's only going to be 10,000. Maybe that's why I'm thinking ApeSwap is 10,000. I think ApeSwap is actually 1,000 now that I'm thinking about it. So there's a considerably large amount of these PancakeSwap NFTs. I'm not sure how much they're going to sell for, because even though there's more than, let's say, ApeSwap, if ApeSwap's at 1K NFTs. The thing about PancakeSwap is PancakeSwap's valuation is so much higher. I mean, what is that now? It's at like 4 billion. And how much money do they have locked? So that's an interesting thing to think about. That's what I call DEX NFTs. DEX NFTs. Okay. It's just one theory that I have where basically getting an NFT that's not just an art project, but actually already linked to something that is creating revenue, like Baby Swap or Buy Swap or Pancake Swap or BDEX or Ape Swap. I think it's an interesting play. And when decentralized exchanges start to realize that they can now make commissions off of selling their own NFTs or grow a community, it could be a marketing thing as well. And they can add endless utility. So why would they not buy back their own NFTs if they can get passive income from their own organization? It just solves a lot of problems. It solves a lot of problems. So that's what I think, I think that they might be underestimated, and as they should be. They're highly speculative. We don't know which DEXs are going to be, hacked in the future. We don't know which DEXs are going to be very successful, which ones are going to be trusted. I point out ApeSwap because it's like, it's already done, man. Like if you're from the Ape Army or whatever you call your own community, I'm not like a tribalist in crypto, man. Like that stuff is beyond me. But if you're part of the, if you're part of ApeSwap, I mean, I think you can feel pretty comfortable trading on ApeSwap so far. It seems like a lot of people do trust it. I don't think it's quite at PancakeSwap, but people forget that PancakeSwap at one point had a seed phrase hack where people were basically phishing, I think it was called. And it wasn't like they stole your seed phrase, but there was like a little pop-up on the website of PancakeSwap where basically it would ask you to fill in your seed phrase as if it was MetaMask. And I think a lot of people got tricked into doing that. And I'm not trying to doubt PancakeSwap because PancakeSwap, hey, look, I love PancakeSwap. It's the decentralized exchange I trust probably the most right now on Binance Smart Chain. So that's kind of what we got for these DEX NFTs. That's the first live stream. The goal is to get to 10. Oh, you know what? Let me see if we have any other questions. I don't think we have any other questions. If you guys have any questions, feel free to comment them. If you have any other questions, feel free to comment them below. It's like Unisocks. I think Unisocks is exchange NFT or something like this. Yes. Yeah. With the Unisocks, there was like a real, like in real life value add. So the Unisocks were interesting because I think if you burn the Unisocks, if I remember, Uniswap, by the way, if you don't know about this, and sorry about the kids in the back, they're not mine, believe it or not. So Uniswap, one of the largest decentralized exchanges out there. Okay, one of the largest decentralized exchanges out there. Basically, what was happening with Uniswap is they created these socks NFTs, and if you burn the NFT, cool of you, Rune, to mention it, they sent you a real pair in real life. So what's stopping, back to the Picasso art piece? I like that comment. I think that I can engage with you guys like pretty well. I like this. I like this a lot. So I appreciate everyone who's come onto the live stream so far and chimed in too. I appreciate you. And the thing about these socks is you can apply it to anything, right? You can apply it to stock. You can apply it to airdrops. You can apply it to, well, what if you're invested in an NFT platform that is, I don't know, doing some kind of digital wearables, right? Well, maybe they'll send you a wearable if you own enough of their NFTs or you burn them. And that real world is getting integrated as we speak. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. Appreciate you, Rune. Thanks, boss. All right, guys. I'm going to let it go because I'm going to check out what happened here with the feedback loop and all the digital, intricacies of doing a live stream. But I appreciate everyone for jumping on. So thank you so much. And if you're not on a live stream, don't worry. I'll be doing some more. I like this format a lot. I like Q&A. So we'll see how it goes. As always, the goal is to get to 10,000 subscribers by October. Maybe this is the video to do it. We'll see if we can do it. This is Jay Crypto. I'm out and live.